Welcome to Mindful Monday. Today we're going to do some yoga, so join me on a towel or a mat outside. We're going to sit cross-legged. You can put your hands on your knees, palms up if you'd like, and we're going to take some time to set our intentions for today's practice. As you're sitting, make sure that you're lengthening up through the top of your head, you're sitting evenly on the ground, and starting to pay attention to your breath. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just some neck rolls. Make sure that you're paying attention to your breathing. Breathing in as you move your head to one side, and then breathing out as you bring it back down. And then we're going to breathe in and bring your head to the other side. And breathe out as you bring it back down. We're going to go ahead and do this one more time. Remembering to breathe as we do this. Then go ahead and bring your head back down. And this time we're going to do a full rotation, so breathing in as you move your head all the way around, and then breathing out. Go ahead and do the same side one more time. And then go ahead and switch directions. Again, breathing in and breathing out. One more time. All right. And the next thing we are going to do is go ahead and do some side stretches. So you're going to bring one hand and arm up over the top of your head. You can either look up at your hand or you can look down. And then we're going to switch to the other side. You should feel this stretch along your side. And make sure that you're remembering to breathe. Make sure throughout your practice today that you're not doing anything that hurts or that feels uncomfortable. So go back to that first side, breathing in as you bend over, breathing out as you hold, breathing in again, breathing out. Let's go ahead and come back up and then do that other side. Remember to breathe as we're doing this. Bring it back to center. All right, now we're going to get on our hands and knees. This is for cat-cow. We're going to do some stretches to the side. You're just going to turn to each side. Try to look at your hip. Make sure that you're trying to keep your hips without moving too much. Keeping your back level. Again, remembering to breathe. And your hands and your feet, everything should be about hip width, shoulder width apart. And now we're doing some cat and cows. So breathing in as you arch your back up, and breathing out as you arch your back down. These should be gentle stretches to help warm up your back. We're going to just do a couple more sets of this. Do it at your own speed, matching your own breathing. And then when you're done, bring it back, level off your back. And next we're going to do some child's pose. There are two options for child's pose. This first one is where your knees are apart. Your hips should be back over your feet. And your arms should be over your head with your head resting on the ground if that's what's comfortable. The other option is to bring your knees together. Again, your hips should still be over your feet. And you should be bending in a way that is comfortable for you. You can also put your arms back along the sides of you instead of over your head if that's what's more comfortable. All right, now we're going to do our first downward dog. Make sure that you don't overextend your knees. There should always be some give in your knees. It's okay to bounce, to move your feet, to walk it out. Remember that your hands and your feet, your hip width and shoulder width apart. Try moving your head some to make sure that there's no tension in your neck. And try to make sure that your weight is centered between your hands and feet so that you're making a triangle, with your hips being the middle part of the triangle. And from downward dog, we're going to go into plank. Make sure that you're continuing to keep your hands. They should be shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Try to make sure that you're completely flat. You can also do a modified plank where you're on your knees instead of your feet if that's more comfortable. And the same for when you're moving into upward dog. So you can have your hips on the ground if that's more comfortable, or if you're feeling up to it, lifting your hips off the ground while you do upward dog, and then flowing back into downward dog before you step or hop to the front of your mat, and go ahead and stand all the way up. All right, so we're going to do some flows here, and we're going to start with a basic fold over. And we're going to take some time to let our head hang. You can bring your arms, fold them. Make sure you're keeping a bend in your knees. This is really meant to help with stretching and loosening the back. And then we're going to fold up, go back down, step back to downward dog. And then we're going to flow through plank and into upward dog. And then we are going to flow back to downward dog. And each of these should be about one breath. So you're going to breathe in, breathe out, and then go to the next position. As we come up, we're going to stop in chair and then calm all the way up. Next, we're going to do a sun salutation, where you bring your hands up above your head, slight bend back before folding over. Quick fold up, fold all the way down, step back to downward dog again, and then flow down through plank into upward dog, keeping your hips off the ground if you're able to, modifying if you need to, flow back to downward dog, and step back to the front of our mat. Stopping in chair as we come all the way up. And we're just going to do this flow again. So sun salutation, going to forward fold, lifting up in the back, folding down again, stepping back into downward dog. Remember to breathe, and remember to listen to your body as you're doing this. Stepping back to the front of your mat as you finish with your last downward dog, doing chair and coming all the way up. All right, last flow, guys. Sun salutation, forward fold. Taking time to breathe and appreciate ourselves and to be present in the moment. Appreciating ourselves for taking time to practice today. Back into downward dog, stepping back to the front of the mat, stopping in chair, and coming all the way up. All right, so we are going to go back to sitting on our mat, and we're going to do a few more stretches. First thing we're going to do is take your right leg and stick it out, bring your left leg in with the foot at your knee, bring your hands over your head, and fold over. This is one that I struggle with. I have tight hamstrings, so it's okay if you're not leaning that far forward. You can either have your head up, head down. Make sure that you're listening to your body as you do this, though. And make sure you're remembering to breathe. Breathe into those stretches. Feel that breath spreading. Fold your leg over. Bring your arm around your knee. And then we're going to stretch, do a side stretch, a twist. Make sure you're lifting up through your back and your head as you do this with your hand outstretched, trying to look over your shoulder if you're able to. Make sure that you're not hyperextending any knees or anything as you do this. All right, now we're going to switch and have the left leg out, right foot into your knee, lifting up and forward, fold over. Again. meet your body where it's at. This should be gentle stretching. And make sure you're remembering to breathe. Now we're gonna wrap our other leg around, our arm around, and do a twist in that other direction. Make sure you're lifting up through your back, through the top of your head. We're gonna come out of that twist, and we're gonna go back to child's pose. And remember, you can have your knees together or apart for this, making sure your hips are over your feet. And we're going to take a little time to sit here in child's pose and to reflect on the practice that we've done today. Continuing to pay attention to our breath. All right, if you guys will join me back seated in cross-leg. I like to put one leg over the other. And we're going to take a minute sitting up, taking time to appreciate our practice. You're going to rub your hands together at heart center, build up some heat, put them over your eyes, breathe deeply, fold forward with your hands at heart center. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me on the practice today.